Hi everyone, today we're going to be taking a look at creating an array using base 10 blocks for multiplying decimals. In previous grades, students have learned place value of decimals. They should also have this background knowledge from addition and subtraction of decimals, which are the skills that come right before multiplication. Just to review, let's remember that the ones place value is represented by a flat, the tenths place value is represented by a rod, which is 1/10 the value of a flat, and the hundredths place value is represented by a unit, which is 1/10 the value of a rod and 1/100th the value of a flat. It might also be beneficial to build an array with whole numbers first to reinforce that when you're finding the total area of the array, you're multiplying the length times the width. Also, that you're reinforcing the fact that you count the corner tile twice. For instance, in this example, I created an array that is 4 square units by 3 square units for a total square units of 12. When I count the units in order to label the sides, I count this corner square twice. I found that this was beneficial to show the students so that as they're creating their decimal arrays, they understand that the corner is counted twice. Okay, here's the decimal example. Jenny is buying a rug that is 1 3/10 yards by 2 2/10 yards. How large is the rug? You'll want to make sure that students understand that the length of the side of the flat is what represents 1, and the length of the side of a rod is what represents 1/10. I'm going to go ahead and build my 1 3/10 yards first. It doesn't matter which way you build your array, but I line them up. This side represents 1 3/10. Remembering that this flat is represented twice, for 2 2/10 yards, I'm only going to add one more flat and 2/10 to show 2 2/10. An array is a complete rectangle, so I will complete the rest by filling in with 3 more tenths and 6/100ths. In order to determine my total for this array, I'll count up all of my manipulatives. I have 6/100ths, 8/10ths, and 2 wholes for a total of 2 86/100ths. Depending on the size of your decimals, it may be necessary to regroup. In this example, students will need to regroup. I'll go ahead and build my 1 5/10. And now my 1 3/10. Remember that this is counted twice. I'll now fill in the rest of my array. A common misconception that many students have when multiplying decimals is that every time you multiply, the product will be larger. As we'll find out in this example, that's not always the case. It's important for your students to discover that as they're building their arrays. When I count up all of my manipulatives, I find that I have 15/100ths. Because 15 is a 2-digit number, I can't represent that in one place value. I know, though, that 10 units or 10/100ths represent one rod or 1/10. So I'll go ahead and trade in 10 of my units for 1 rod. So now when I count all of my manipulatives, I find that I have 5/100ths, 9/10ths, and 1 flat for a total of 1 95/100ths. That's all I have for you for multiplying and building an array with base 10 blocks.